Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone who are attending this webinar. With us on the webinar, we have from EM Normandie Business School, Mr. Nicolas Gerk, who is the academic director of the course, and Rhea Shivan, who is the international recruitment manager, Indian subcontinent. Thank you, Nicolas and Rhea, for joining in and providing us your inputs about the course and how it is relevant for the audience that are here. We'll have a detailed introduction about both of them later as well. And what I like to do is I like to advise you on why we are doing the webinar. Right? C and Beyond is doing the webinar. So essentially, what used to happen is that many of us, and I'm a mariner myself, we would like to understand the various skill enhancement opportunities that we would have, where it could be, and what will it do to us, right? And most of the time, these skill enhancement opportunities we know from a friend of a friend of a friend, or through brochures or through word of mouth, but very seldom it happens directly from the institute itself, right? So in this endeavor, C and Beyond is trying to increase your awareness about the information about the course and from the institute directly, so that you can evaluate that information and more importantly take well informed decision, right? So it's not basis a friend, a counselor. It is basis your discussion with the university, and not just the academic counselors from the university, but it also involves the director of the course as well, and hence Nicola is also there. What we also have a couple of do's and don'ts, please. The speaking rights are given to the host and presenters only. So we request you to keep your mic mute, please. You can communicate through chat window. So if you have any query, you can please put it in the chat window, and we'll address these queries, but we will address them at the end of the webinar, once the presentations are done. May I also request all of you to rename yourself. So if you're coming in with the name of an iPhone or name of maybe your family member, if you could change it so that we can address to you if you have a query, so that we can address you by your name itself. You may keep on submitting the questions in the chat window as and when you have a question. Some of your questions may get answered in the next slide or in the slide later, but if the questions are not answered, we will take those questions at the end of the presentation itself, right? So just one last thing, our focus is on you, but very specific questions, we may want to take it after the webinar, and one of our education counselors can get you after the webinar itself. Yeah. So that's from and we'll of course share the slides after the presentation is done. So that's pretty much from my side. I will take a quick poll on whether you are able to or to know your ranks, and then it is over to Nikolai, who is the academic director who essentially helps in running the course. So, so I'm launching a poll now, and after this poll, it's over to you, Nicola. So the poll is, what is your rank? Are you sailing? And if sailing, are you sailing at a top 4 level or an operations level? You've never went to sea, or you're settled ashore, but after sailing. Got about 75% who have answered. A few more answers, please. Okay. Um, Let me end the poll and share the results with you all. So, so it's a fairly equal distribution wherein in the sense for top four sailing, operations level sailing, and never went to sea. So about 30 odd percent over there, and there are a couple of persons who are settled ashore after sailing. So that's the that's our colleagues, that's our persons who are attending this webinar for all your information. Over to you now, Nicolas. You may please share the screen.
All right, thank you, Captain. All right, can you see it?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. So, this is a presentation of two programs called Supply Chain Management, and the other one is called International Logistics and Port Management. They are both delivered in Le Havre, France. So it's 2 hours away from Paris in the region called Normandy. This program are Master 2 and Master of Science. I think you will be more on the Master of Science compartment. But to briefly introduce myself, so I'm Nicolas Gerk, so I'm graduated from this school 13 years ago already, from the same program that I managed today, actually. So I started as an external teacher in 2016 as a let's say a teacher in supply chain management, and became director of these two programs in 2021. I'm also keeping my teaching activity at school, as well as other activity outside. So I'm working as consultant in port and flow management. I'm a port facility security officer at this port cruise terminal, as well as maritime safety and security trainer, mostly regarding safety and security compliance regulation, such as ISPS code and everything. My other colleagues actually come from different parts of the world. As you can see, we have teachers coming from everywhere. Each continent is represented, from Europe to Africa and from America to Asia, bringing more diversity to the program and different pedagogical approach also on different topics. About the students' profile, what you should expect if you attend the program. This is the figures for this year. So we get a majority of students coming from Asia, so mostly India and China. Then comes Europe, so French students mostly, also people from Eastern countries sometimes. Africa 20%, and South America 10%. So Colombia, Mexico are usually the countries where we welcome students. About the different students profile that you can have in these two programs, actually you will attend, you will be a Master of Science graduation, okay? Because you will come from mostly a bachelor degree with 3 years of work experience, but you will be basically mixed with other student profile to bring more diversity, so Master 1 or exchange students coming from our partners university. So just to give you an idea on the number of students, we have 42 students on the full-time track and 40 students on the apprentice track. So in total 81 or 82 students. So now the calendar. So this is what you should expect if you attend the program next year from September 2024. So in light yellow, you got the courses. In dark yellow, you got challenges. So challenges are a professional experience that the school is offering to the students. They work for real companies on real logistics question. and they have to find the solution because the company, let's say, doesn't have the time to deal with this, and they offer it to the students so they can work on a competition basis between the groups. Okay, so they can answer to that, and so we have 2 semesters. The fourth semester from September to December. Okay, 4 months, and the spring semester from January to April. And after that, you need to start your internship. Okay, so if you are in a Master of Science, you need to do 4 months of internship, whatever you want, disregarding the location, disregarding the type of contract, as long as it stays in the, let's say, supply chain, logistics, transportation sector. So now we're going to present and maybe focus a little bit more on this regular track, so the full-time track, because we have also a apprenticeship track. I will also present it at the end. So what you need to know about this regular track is a Master 2 and a Master of Science, so you can have a double degree. You must have at least 790 at your TOEIC score, or you have equivalent for the IELTS or the TOEFL. What you need to know also is that we have 2 programs. Like I said in the introduction, we have supply chain and port management. Okay, these 2 are mixed in the first semester. There is a common trunk to get the let's say the basics of logistics, operations, supply chain principles in the first semester, and then in the second, you split into to attend the specialized courses. So the first semester, common trunk, and second semester, 2 options, or about 60% will opt for SCM, 40% will opt for LPM on average. Okay, this year we are 50-50, for instance, which I'm quite satisfied. So fourth semester, the objective is to familiarize yourself with logistics, supply chain operations management, quality, and procurement mostly. So you can see on this page, on the left column, the name of the course, and each course has sub-courses. Okay. So for instance, for supply chain essentials, you get 3 sub-courses to attend, each last 10 hours. So supply chain fundamentals, process mapping, Excel, etc. Same principle for almost all, as we have a different teacher for each topic. This is the principle to have let's say a teacher specialized in the topic for each one. So I will, let's say, detail a little bit more. Each one. Supply chain essentials comes at the beginning. So first course, supply chain essentials. The objective is to give the fundamentals of let's say logistics, transportation, and supply chain management. So also about to know how to drawing, let's say, flow charts to define processes. You can also a section of Excel to master Excel, because you will use Excel a lot during not all the course, but let's say at least 60% of it. Then comes the operations and quality management to know how to they define the operations, schedule the operation, and also quality to maintain the level of service. Strategic procurement is one of the core courses of the semester. Okay, so let's say sourcing of suppliers, how to maintain a relation with them, etc. Supply chain performance measurement is more on the, let's say, figures. Okay, figures and data, cost and revenue, auditing and controlling. Okay, how to assess the performance of a logistic company or a supply chain as a whole. Then a very interesting topic on sustainability, because it's becoming more and more crucial to take this aspect into account into the logistics operation, both on the sustainable point of view, but also on the financial one. So you get 2 courses on that, to calculate carbon footprint, to find a sustainable solution to replace the use of fossil fuels during your processes, etc. Supply chain analytics then will be introduced to let's say deal more with the figures with data, so probability and statistics, as well as all the systems, all the softwares that can be used to help the logistician to work properly. And then you get information and simulation. So it's mostly more practical courses. So SAP, as you may already know, this is a very famous software used for many logistics operation, procurement, but not only. So you have 15 hours of SAP, so you can master it, but you can have also the course in the second semester as well. And Fresh Connection is a business game. Okay, it's business game when you have to handle company selling orange juice, and you face a lot of disruptions that you have to manage in order to maintain the flow of the product delivery. Then you have business competition. So, like I explained in the calendar, you have this competition to bring more field experience for you before starting the internship. You have a career preparation also to manage to build your resume, or to manage your job interviews. And you have research methodology, because you have a thesis to do in the second semester. So this course prepares you to know how to build your thesis. So after the first semester in the common trunk, you get the two options. So first is supply chain management. Supply chain management will enable you to manage global value chain and supply networks. So it's more focused on the, let's say, procurement, demand, so customer relationship management, supplier relationship management. So you got few courses about transport, but not so many because it's more for the other track, but you get still intermodal transport as well as the legal aspect of it. Then comes the demand planning. So it's more on the customer point of view, to handle and to manage demand, as well as a course of negotiation. Okay, this is more role plays that you will have to do for a negotiation course in order to put in practice what you have learned during the demand management course. Then you got supply and production system. So it's more on the supplier relationship management point of view that this course is been built. Then you have facility location and customer care. So there's a course about how to handle customers. I mean, how to maintain quality, how to communicate with customers. Even if it's a program focused on logistics, this is very important to know, let's say, the behavior and the techniques to manage the customer panel properly. Then you have a course on warehousing, how to manage your warehouse, how to create optimized distribution networks. You have supply chain innovation, about new technologies that can be used in supply chain, such as blockchain, such as IoT, any other type of big data, for instance, any other new technologies that can be used for that. A course on risk management. And then you have more practical courses, business games like SAP again. And Triple Connection is a business game focused on the sustainability in supply chains. There are a few courses about the soft skills. So this is what appears in let's say in red here. So professional techniques and project management in supply chain. Then comes the challenge number 2 for professional experience. Then you have internship, so 4 months to do minimum, and the final dissertation. So final dissertation is the thesis to accounts for 10 credits. So total hours for both semesters is more than 400 hours. Then you get the second option. Maybe you are more interested by this one because you are coming from the maritime sector. So this one is international logistics and ports management. So these are different courses from the supply chain track. So you will have the courses on the international trade principles, as well as legal aspects of it. Then you got port economics and performance. So you get a course on how to manage a port terminal. It's maybe a little bit focused more on the containers activity, but not only. So you have port and terminal logistics, port community management, also to know all the stakeholders involved in the port and how to manage all these people together. Then you get effective transport operations, so maritime and marine operations. And for the other type of transport, you got the intermodal transport systems. So you can attend this program. Maybe you want to switch from maritime to air industry, for instance. This program is still relevant to it, okay? Even for road, even for train, okay? Then you get strategic shipping management, so more on a shipping business point of view, or how business or shipping company is run, okay? How to handle the business planning and everything, and you have a risk and crisis management in shipping in addition to that. Then you get maritime innovations and digital transformation, so integrate a lot of new technologies, information systems to handle maritime and port operations efficiently, as well as the sustainability topic. And you got a few business simulations as well, and also the communications like negotiation and professional techniques, the same as the SCM. You must do also the internship 4 months and do the final dissertation before the end of the academic year. So these are the two programs. Also, if you attend a Master of Science, because you will have more credits to validate, you must choose additional courses. And you have the list here. So 1 course in semester 1 and 2 courses in semester 2. So you choose among this list. This will be 25 hours each course and will be credited. It is mandatory to choose at least 1 in semester 1 and 2 in semester 2. I will mention quickly the apprenticeship track. So it's called alternance in French. So this is different schedule. Okay, this is only a master 2, and condition to apply are the same. You must have more than 790 at the TOEIC. But you have to find your company in France, okay, and work for this company. Then on the apprenticeship mode, you work 1 week at school and 3 weeks in a company, and so on. So your company job must be related to supply chain, to logistics, and the company, of course, will evaluate your work in addition to the courses. You can see here the weeks in yellow, you have to be at school, and in white, it's when you have to be in your company. So the program is about the same. I will not detail much, okay, because it's the same content, but it's focused only on supply chain management more than port management, because they attract more students for SCM. So we have decided to focus on SCM on. The job market. The job market is, let's say, an occasion for you to know what you can do after attending this program. So here I put the list, let's say a short list, because we have more students than that, but I summarize here what the previous year group is doing. So they are still, or they are at the end of their internship now, because we are in December. So you have a few examples here of what they did so far. So from purchasing to continuous improvement, from IT technical assistant to project manager, etc. This is for SCM. So you have the name of the company. So they are located in different countries. So the half, let's say, is in France. The rest is in Europe or beyond. For LPM, most of our students are working for shipping companies. We have a good, maybe excellent relation with CMA CGM. Each year they take like 5-6 students minimum, but also with other shipping line like ONI or MSG. So few students are working for port authorities or port terminals also. You have the example here. And on the last slide here, like I said in my introduction, I did this program as a student, let's say 13 years later, 13 years ago, sorry. So here are what my classmates are doing now. Okay, so you can see the evolution from what you can do just right after the program and what you can do like 10 years later. Okay, so you have the average salary in euros, so it's same in US dollar if you get the conversion. So you can do, let's say, almost everything: fleet manager, transport coordinator, operational cost manager, um, supervisor or director of customer relationship management. Yeah, everything that is with management responsibilities, and it's still in the logistics sector. If you want to contact, we are two directors this year. So my colleague Moacir and myself, okay, Nicolas. If you have question, you can take a picture of this slide, or I think um, Ian Beyond will forward it to you. Thank you.
Sorry.
So I have my student here. I don't know if you wanna do it
Yeah.
now, the presentation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that'll make sense. Thanks for
So
your time. It was a very nice presentation, Nicola, and it was very insightful as well. Thank you so much.
okay, so I let now Isabella to introduce herself and to, let's say, talk about why she chose the program and how she what does she think about it.
Hi, how are you? My name is Isabella. I am from Colombia. I'm actually part of that 10% that comes from South America. And I'm currently enrolled in the International Logistics and Port Management master's degree. I arrived to France like 1 year and a half for consolidating my undergraduate program with a double degree program in international business, since I had in Colombia business administration title. And yeah, after that, I had the opportunity to come to EM Normandie for doing my dream master's degree. And well, regarding the school, I choose the school because it has a good reputation. Actually, it has a triple crown or triple accreditation. And if you don't know, just 1% of the business schools in the world has it. So this can prove the commitment of the institution of providing a high quality education. And of course, regarding the program, I choose it because it aligns with my professional aspirations. How you heard before, Nicolas mentioned all the classes that you will have during the year. So it's a really, really complete program that actually equips students with a diverse set of skills and prepare us for leadership roles in this globalized and challenging industry that actually grows every day. We have professors from all around the world. That's a huge advantage because they bring cultural, educational, and also professional backgrounds, different ways of thinking, of solving problems. So yeah, this pictures us to a wide of perspectives, ideas, and approach us to problem solving. That actually problems are a daily basis in this industry, and we should have the ability to work on it at, as soon as they appear. We do have also practical experience that for me that was really important. For example, we are working in a business competition with a French company about of course is regarding logistics about the Olympic Games that are taking place in Paris next year. So basically we are trying to help the company to provide them ideas of new routes, because there's some zones that will be closed, of course, and that deliveries will be affected because of that. So yeah, we are helping the company, and we are currently in our process. And yeah, we are also this Monday, actually, we're gonna have our first port visit. If you don't know, the port of Le Havre is the first or second best port of France. So yeah, the first for containers. Yeah. So this offers an immersive experience to study and applicate like all the maritime industry concepts that we learn through the master's degree. And yeah, the city, it's really nice. It's a bit rainy, but it's not a problem. We get used to it. People are really nice. There's like a family warm atmosphere, so that makes you feel like home. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Isabella, maybe you can tell us a bit about your classroom experience. I mean, how it is coming to college every day. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can, Rhea.
Okay. So can you hear me, Isabella?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. Now, just a quick question on how you feel. I mean, your experience of the classroom setting, how things are, and how different it is from the country you come from, and to give students an idea of what to expect when they come on campus.
Okay, I have my classmates are from all around the world, so it's quite nice to have like a multicultural environment, because you learn from them. You learn their experience, because they have a work experience. For example, I used to work in the port of Cartagena in Colombia just for a year, but they have years of experience. And of course, we also my mom always used to tell me that we also get to know from the voice of experience. So in this case, my classmates and also our professors help us delve deep in this industry that is constantly changing. And yeah.
Thank you, Isabella. I think if anyone else has questions, please don't hesitate to drop a question in the chat, or speak, unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Isabella. I hope the information you've given, is very interesting, and I think will help our students take a more informed decision as well.
Yeah, it's also important or key how passionate you are about this industry, because at the end you are focusing in a really specific area that you will be working for almost the rest of your life.
Right.
No, I absolutely agree, and then thanks for your time and your insights on this. I think everyone can.
We do have a question.
Do you want to, Rhea, do you want to just talk about the admission process once, and then we start taking in questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Rhea, and for those of you who will eventually be interested in applying for our supply chain or our international logistics and port management program, I will be your point of contact along with Gaurav's team. So, basically, to run you through the application process, the entire process is done online. So, Gaurav and his team will guide you through the entire process. And as a result, because we're partnered with CN Beyond, students applying for the program will also get an application fee waiver. So you lose nothing in actually applying to our program. Secondly, I think a lot of you have a profile. I mean, I think a lot of you are mariners already. And in this case, a lot of you probably have a 3-year bachelor's degree and with a good number of years of work experience. And in this case, a lot of you are probably looking for a one-year program. So we're very, we're very happy to announce that students with such a profile can actually look at a one-year program with us through what we call a VAPP process. So the VAPP process is basically the validation of professional and personal experiences. So while normal students with a 4-year undergraduate degree can take up a one-year program with just one interview, you would have to go through 2 interviews, one to determine your motivation and a second to determine whether your work experience is sufficient enough to propel you directly into the second year of the program. This second interview is usually handled by a committee and we normally have Professor Nicolas over there present. We have one of the international recruitment managers present, but we also have a couple of other members present during the interview process. Once that is done, and we successfully determine that you have sufficient knowledge to directly skip the first year, you will then be admitted into the second year of a program. Once you received your pre-admission letter, you have about 2 weeks to secure your seat by paying an initial deposit of 5,000 euros, which will be deducted from your tuition. Now, the tuition fee for both programs would be 14,500 euros for the 15-month track. So while we call it the one-year track, the 1 year is not 12 months. It's actually 15 months long. So it's 9 months of classes with a 4 to 6 month internship. I think there's a little detail that I would like to expand on, and that is concerning the M2 and the MSc program. So Professor Nicolas mentioned that we have the M2 track as well as the MSc track. So the M2 track is part of what we call the Masters in Management program. And this is for those of you who really want to take up the foundation year, do the 2-year program with us. Then you can consider taking up the MIM program, do your foundation year, and then come and take a specialization in supply chain management or international logistics and port management with us. But for those of you who are really looking for a 1-year track, then you consider the MSc track with us. So the curriculum remains the same. It's just the different types of tracks that we offer according to the different types of degrees that you have, that you hold. Another little detail I would like to lay emphasis on is the requirement of an English language test. So while we do require an English language test for admission, we have an exemption for Indian students. So for Indian students who can get us a medium of instruction letter from their college, we will provide an exemption on the requirement of an English language test. So all you need to do is get us a letter from your college stating that your medium of instruction was English, or if it is already mentioned that medium of instruction is English on your mark sheet, we will accept that as an exemption as well. I think that's about it. So the process is fairly simple. We'll get an application fee waiver. Now, coming to scholarships, we have an early bird scholarship. So those of you who apply before the end of February, you will automatically benefit from a 10% early bird scholarship. So that's 10% off your total tuition fees. And we have another 10% scholarship, which is merit-based. And this will depend on how you've performed in your interview, your academic scores, and of course, how you filled up your application form with us as well. So we factor in all these details before we take a call on the second 10%. So you can accumulate a total of 20% scholarship from us. And for those of you who have less than 3 years of work experience and below 30, you can also consider government scholarships like the Charpak scholarship. So these are scholarships offered by the French government. And should you get one of these scholarships, you can accumulate that with the private scholarship that we provide from EM Normandie as well. So better to try and apply as soon as possible so that you can try and benefit from both scholarships. So like I mentioned, tuition fees is 14,500 euros. And we are also, so for those of you who are looking for funding, we have 2 funding agencies that are linked to EM Normandie. We have Prodigy Finance that has recently come on board. So once you're admitted, you can directly go onto Prodigy Finance's website. You will see that both our ILPM and our SCM programs are listed on their website. You can go submit your financial details and see whether or not you're eligible for a loan from Prodigy. So this is a foreign loan. But for those of you who are looking for a loan from India, we are tied up with HDFC Credila as well. So for those of you who would like more information about that, you can always reach out to Gaurav and myself, and I'll be more than happy to assist you with the contact details for the same. So I think with that, I've run through the entire admission process. I think we can take up the questions now, Gaurav.
Absolutely, I think we should. And thanks for the detailed idea on the course, Rhea. I think point to note for everyone is that there is an early bird discount. So
yes, which is easily available. So the earlier you apply, there's no prerequisite per se except for submitting it within the deadline. So make use of it so that you can already, you can already benefit from at least 1,450 euros in total in scholarships to begin with. And then, of course, based on your academics and your motivation, we can also look at another 10% as well.
What are the other expenses besides this 14,500 euros? Is there any
yes,
expenses
so
for
14,500 euros is only your tuition. Apart from this, you have to consider your living expenses. That's boarding, lodging, food, and all of that. So that would work out to about 700 to 800 euros per month in the city of Le Havre. So you're not going to be in Paris. So the cost of living is going to be cheaper for that reason.
Yeah, I think that was a question which we had from I guess from one of the candidates participants as well. They had that question. So what is the approximate cost for the course and the accommodation in the city? So which is answered.
We do have a question from Asif from quite some time ago. So he mentioned how important is it to know French. So Nicolas, maybe you can help us on that front.
So if you attend Master of Science, you are offering to attend French classes. Okay. Depending on your level and how you feel in that class, it might be enough or it might not be enough. It's up to you to experience that, but at least the school will provide some basic French classes. Honestly, I think it's not enough. You should maybe, I don't know, watch movies in French or with subtitles and everything during the year. So you go out with your friends in pubs and events, and we will speak French more easily. For instance, Isabella speak English and Spanish, and she's quite good in French now. She is able to speak and to write in French very easily. Let's say she's improving. So I think it's not obstacle, let's say, but you must be careful on that.
I think one thing that we usually recommend is that you have about 9 to 10 months now before you can actually join us for our next intake. And so we'll have a lot of Alliance Française centers in India. We're one of the largest networks of Alliance Française in the world. So utilize this opportunity to actually take on a couple of basic classes before you come. It will not only help you with your day-to-day living, it will help you in gaining good internships as well. So the more you learn French, the better the opportunities, especially if you're looking for them in France. And there's one thing I say is that if you're looking for a paid internship and you want something in France, then yes, it's always better to know French, because any internship in France over 8 weeks is mandatorily paid by the organization. It's a government rule. So if you want to benefit from that, then yes, take this time out to really learn French. And of course, being bilingual is really going to help you tomorrow with your career as well. Because French is not just spoken in France. French is spoken in a lot of Francophone countries, in Canada, in a lot of countries in Africa, even in Asia, in certain countries in Asia. So don't hesitate. Don't think that you just to land a job, you need to know the language. It's going to help you even beyond that.
Yeah, there are some companies like in France that disregard the French level, such as CMA-CGM in the headquarters. They take as long as you speak English, you can apply. But this only apply to few companies, big groups, okay, headquarters with a lot of nationalities together, not applying to all the companies. So be careful on that.
Okay. There was a question from Sylvester on whether whether we offer this as an online program as well. Unfortunately, no, we don't offer this as an online program. This is a full-time program. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
I think there was a question from Mary as well before this, Rhea, and she's asking if is it required to have work experience in port industry in order to apply?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Oh, work experience 3 years for MSc, but 3 years of experience is not mentioned that has to be related to port or shipping, but at least work experience.
Some kind of managerial work experience, because basically we need to know that you have some basics in management to skip the foundation year. The foundation year doesn't get into the core concepts of supply chain management and stuff like that. So basically we need to know that you have some core managerial skills that are sufficient enough for you to go past the basics.
And before that, Gurpreet had a question on any ballpark numbers on the initial wages, average initial wages after completion of the course.
I think, Nicolas, that do you have a ballpark figure about? I think the wages will vary depending on the experiences you already hold. Am I right, Nicolas?
You mean after
After the program? Yes.
After the
what would be
program.
the average? Yeah, the average salaries.
Let's say the internship, well, it's paid less than a permanent job, of course, because it's internship contract, so it's between 600 and 1,000 euros on average per month. So lasting 4 months. And then for a permanent job at the beginning, you should expect between, let's say, 35,000 and 45,000 a year.
Okay. So that's not bad. You invest 16,000, 17,000 euros, and after a couple of years, 1.5 years, 2 years, you get about 40,000 euros. And I'm sure it varies on the experience that you have. So maybe more experienced persons could get a little bit more as well. So yeah, thanks for that, Nicola. We have a question from Veda. And do you have a course and curriculum brochure for this course? Of course, we have Veda. We'll
Yes.
share it with you after the webinar. We had a presentation. I'm not sure if you joined, maybe you joined a little late, but we will share the brochure with you. Question from Gurbachan saying, what is the rate of successful employability after doing this course? And he's essentially asking about non-French nationals. How many persons do get placed?
I can take the example of last year group. Oh, they were like 40. No, in the regulatory, that's 35. Only 2 are not graduated because they didn't finish their internship on time. The other are found internship plus permanent job, so makes 96% employability.
That's good. That's good. So about 96% employability, about 40,000 euros as a starting salary. And Captain Tanveer's question is, if a person has an equivalency certificate, can they do this course? And then I think we had a candidate last year, Captain Tanveer, who had the equivalency certificate, and he was able to apply for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rhea. That's fine.
Yeah, so as long as the equivalency certificate validates the equivalency on par with a master's, then yes, we can directly. And in any case, even if you have a bachelor's in nautical science, a 3-year bachelor's in nautical science, and have more than 3 years of work experience, you automatically are eligible for the 1-year track. So we've simplified the process over the years, and we've implemented this VAPP process specifically because we've noticed that a lot of mariners end up with a 3-year degree instead of a 4-year degree, because that's how it all started. It's only off late that we see engineering degrees in nautical sciences. So this is why we brought about the VAPP process, and it has been quite successful because we did quite a few successful interviews with mariners through this process last year. And all of them got admitted because they had the relevant work experience to skip the first year.
Yep. Thanks for that, Rhea. Mary's question is on visa process and the internship bit during.
Okay. So what happens is once you're admitted, once you've secured your seat, I will send you a very detailed document on how to proceed with your visa process. It is a two-step process. The first step is filling up a form with Campus France and attending an academic interview with Campus France, following which you will then submit your visa application through VFS. So I will guide you through the entire process. I am an ex-Campus France manager myself, so I know the ins and outs of the process, and therefore I will be able to guide you more specifically. So don't worry about that. That would be my responsibility once you're admitted. To give you an idea, we recruited about 34 students in total last year from India alone, and not a single one of them had a visa rejection. So we're pretty good on the visa process side. And of course, with Gaurav, we work a lot on helping also you get accommodation. We provide you with a long list of accommodation partners that we have, because you will notice that none of the business schools in France actually have on-campus accommodation. You would have to find accommodation within the city, and we are partnered with a lot of housing associations and agencies, and so we share all these details with you once you've secured your seat, so that you can right away start your search for accommodation and secure one as soon as possible, because that is one of the mandatory requirements for getting your visa.
Great.
On the internship part, the school will not automatically give you an internship. We will give you the necessary resources and the tools. You utilize these resources and tools to find your own internship. But of course, you have guidance from your professors, but you also have a certain number of hours of what we call a career path, which is a certain number of hours of soft skill development, training, simulations, networking events. So these are sometimes optional, sometimes mandatory. Make use of every resource we put at your disposal to start looking for internships as soon as possible. And as one thing I tell students all the time is, don't wait for the last moment to start your networking. Don't wait for the last moment to start looking for internships. You start networking right from the time you've started your classes. Yeah, and I think Nicolas can also develop a bit more on that. What would you recommend? When do you recommend students start looking for their internships, Nicolas?
So for the current year group, they have to start right now, like mid-December, or even in early January will be perfect, because the company usually post they offer 4 months in advance in France, or in Europe in general. So they better start 4 months before the deadline.
So it's important that you start your internship on time, so that you finish it within the academic year, so that you graduate with the current cohort. Because if your internship passes the deadline given, then you pay for an extra semester. So it's always good to start early, so that you secure your internship as soon as possible, so that you finish with the current cohort and you graduate on time.
Great. I've got Manish who has raised his hands. And Manish, do you want to speak up? Speak your
Yeah, Gaurav. Thanks. Okay, I just wanted to know a small brief on the recently opened Dubai campus, because I have applied through C and Beyond for this MSc program about a month ago, and I haven't received any response from them. So can they please brief on that?
Okay, so admissions wouldn't have been open a month ago. That's probably why we haven't. You applied to the Dubai campus, is it?
Through C and Beyond, yes. I was more interested in Dubai, or like Dubai
Okay.
campus.
Yeah, so admissions have only recently opened, Manish. So what we'll do is, if Gaurav already has your profile, we will then share it with the Dubai campus, and they have a separate application process, which Gaurav will guide you through.
Thank you.
Manish, we got a reply from Dubai campus about you today itself, and either me or my colleague will connect with you about the update.
Perfect, Captain Gaurav. Thank you.
Sure.
I think there was a question from Captain Sakeja. What if the candidate does not obtain a job after the course? What's the next step? So So the thing is, once you've completed your internship, if you do not secure a permanent job post your internship, you have something called an APS visa, which is a job search visa. So all students graduating from one of our MSc programs are automatically eligible for the 2-year stay back job search visa. So you can apply directly for the 2-year stay back job search visa. You get it for 1 year renewable for the second year. And then you use that time out to maybe do another internship or to look for jobs. So that's what would be the next steps for you. So if you look at the 2-year stay back, a lot of other nationalities would usually get 1 year. There are only 5 countries, 5 nationalities that get 2 years. The only Asian country to get 2-year stay back is India.
Good to know. Nice. And I guess the relationship between France and India is also improving a lot of more diplomatic
Absolutely.
relationships happening.
Absolutely.
Right. I've got Adnan who has raised his hand. Then Adnan, do you want to speak up your question?
Good evening, Cap. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
So, yeah, I graduated in Bachelor's of Business Administration, and then I was working with a shipping company for 2 years in India as well as the Middle East. And
Okay.
side by side, I completed my PGDM also in operations. So, will I
Okay.
be directly admitted into the first year
Yes.
or into the last year of the program?
Into the last year. Your PGDM was 1 year or 2 years, Adnan?
2 years, ma'am.
So definitely you can get into the 1-year track. So it's either 3 years bachelor's degree with 3 years of work experience or a 3 years bachelor's degree with a PGDM. Either options work directly for the second year.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So I see there was a question from Veda as well about whether the fees is 14,500, whether for the regular or the apprenticeship track. So for the MSc track, it is 14,000. The full study track is 14,000 euros. The apprenticeship track can only be taken if you take the 2-year MIM program with us. It can't be availed during the MSc track. So if you take the 2-year apprenticeship, the MIM track, you can opt for the apprenticeship track in the second year. And in that case, the tuition fee is 13,000 euros. But that, if you get your apprenticeship, it is covered and sponsored by the company that takes you on.
So I guess to qualify for that, you have to have a employment from a company.
Yeah. So you take up the 2-year MIM track, you do the full study track in the first year. And then during that time, you look for a company to sponsor you for the second year. And then if you find the company, then the company takes over your fees for the second year and provides you with a living stipend.
Great. We missed a question from Rajat Sankriya earlier, and his question was, will GME be counted as a course or as an experience? So by GME, it's graduate marine engineer. And so Rajat, you've finished your engineering, so that's your course, and you've sailed as a GME, so probably about 1 year or so. So you maybe, you'll have to do the full track if your experience is a year. Is that correct, Rhea, or will he be eligible for the second year?
So he's done a 3-year bachelor's degree, correct?
He's done an engineering, so he's an engineer.
So 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. 4 years.
Then he can directly integrate the 1-year track.
Oh, okay.
That's why if he has a 4-year degree, then directly 1 year.
All right. Okay.
That
Great.
was the advantage that Deepak also had last year, because he was an engineer himself as well.
Correct.
So we have recruited a student last year by the name of Deepak, and he went through C and Beyond, and he was also a mariner, but with an engineering degree. Given that he had an engineering degree, he directly integrated the 1-year track, and he's currently pursuing the track at the moment under Professor Nicolas, and probably is also in Isabella's class as well.
Right. I think Rakesh and SKM, they have the same question on, is there an age limit for the course?
So for the MSc, there's no age limit. For the MIM as well, we've recently lifted the age limit. So basically under the MIM track, you'll usually find yourself among students who are about 23, 24, 25 years old. But the MSc track really has a very varied profile of candidates. And so the MSc program would make a lot of sense for a lot of you students who are present here. I mean, a lot of you professionals that are present here today.
Sure. I have a couple of questions. Can the students work while they are studying, and if so, how long or how many hours in a week?
So the visa that the student gets is, permits them to work for about 19 and a half hours per week. But of course, it will depend on the classes, the curriculum that is set by Nicolas and Moasia. So I think Nicolas' scope for part-time jobs is kind of limited during the week, I imagine, since classes go right from the morning till the evening, Monday to Friday.
We start 8:30, we finish 5 p.m. And for MSc, 2 days a week, you have classes from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. 2 days a week only.
So kind of limited for part-time jobs during the week. So we usually encourage students. I mean, it's a little different from the UK in that sense where, usually classes only happen once or twice a week, and then the rest of the time you can actually work. But here is very academic focused, and of course, and we are also practical focused in the sense that yes, later on you have your mandatory internship to complete, which is not necessarily a requirement in the UK, for example. So very, very academically oriented. And so work on your French and you earn in the last 6 months if you get an internship in France. That's how I put it. And what you earn in the last 6 months during your internship is much more than what you would earn working 1 month part-time.
Correct. One more question, and this is from the curriculum which Nicolas shared. So after you finish the internship, a student also has to do dissertation. And then how long is that for?
This dissertation, they have to start actually before that. They should start the dissertation during semester 2, so they can have the time to finish it or to almost finalize it before starting the internship, because internship, taking time. You need to let's say accumulate a lot of knowledge from the company. You will maybe work more hours during the evening to catch up delay, etc. So they can finish, of course, the thesis during the internship, but let's say 60% should be done before that.
Okay, understand. Right. I don't see any more questions, but let me take a poll on persons if they're interested to attend this course, and if you are planning to enroll, what year do you plan to enroll, and it could be yes, no, or not sure, and with which year. While you answer this poll question, I like to take time to thank you, Nicolas and Rhea, for your time in presenting the webinar, and also to remind all of the attendees that through CN Beyond, you can get a waiver on your application fees. We'll help you in applying, so filling up your form, then submission, licensing for your accommodation, licensing for payment through various means, because and this is especially for mariners, because you have an NRE account. NRE account, it becomes difficult to pay directly to a foreign entity. So we can help you in that payment as well. And all the way to have you admitted into the college along with Rhea, we support you. So we've got our counselors, Smita and Disha also. So feel free to connect with us if you would like to, and we can answer a lot of your queries as well. In the meanwhile, let me just end this poll. I've got 60% of you who have answered the poll. I would have ideally liked about 80%, but that's it. So I mean, sharing the results, about 50% of you are looking to enroll for this course, and most of you are looking for this year. So the guys who are looking for this year, do it as soon as possible, because you will get the scholarship, you will get the early bird discount, which is quite a sizable sum of 10%. Mary, we'll write down the contact details. So Smita will write down the details of C and Beyond. It's education@cnbeyond.com, where you can share your documents or just an email, and we can connect with you for helping you in the application as such. And there's a question from Rakesh: what is the maximum age for getting the employment? I don't know. Is there a maximum age for the employment?
No.
Okay. There is none, Rakesh. And right, let me take one final poll on the feedback about the webinar. And this is about, were your expectations met when you had enrolled, registered yourself for the webinar? Was the session useful for you, and how would you rate the session? More importantly, if you wanted a few things, or you had some certain expectations which were not met, if you can write down what was the additional thing which you wanted, and we'll try and meet your expectation, or have that included in the next webinar as well. So we've got about 60% of you who have voted, and I look forward for more answers. But more importantly, as I said, any improvements, any suggestions, more than welcome. Please write that down, or if you want, you can speak up as well. Okay, I've got 70% of you who have voted, and let me end the poll and share the results. For most of you, we were able to meet or exceed the expectations, and almost all of you found the session useful. There's one person whose expectations were not met, and I'm hoping we'll address that. I'm more than happy for you to speak up on what we could have done extra as well, though. Right. I guess we've kind of answered all the questions. We had planned the session for an hour. It's more than that, and we've got Isabella, we've got Nicolas in the call as well. So thanks, Rhea. Thank you, Nicolas. Thanks, Isabella, for your time. Thank you, all the participants, for your time as well. And if you have any questions, any queries, you want to apply, how to apply, feel free to write to us on education@cnbeyond.com, and we should be able to support you in your application and in your queries. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, and your team for organizing this session for us as well.